So, I just got home from Sister Act, the performance, and it went as well as it could be expected. So, on the bright side, look at this programme. It's not the coolest. It is just so cool. I really like that. And they bought me a present, which I'm not going to unwrap until tomorrow, but I kind of think I know what it is. I hope it is what I think it is. He said, here we go, it's a new car. So, let's get into it, shall we, while I take all of this slap off. Okay, so, for me, the atmosphere in the place was a bit flat. Because it's a modern day church, you know, it's not one of these kind of Gothic cathedral kind of places. It's just like a really big room with a stage and a big cross on the back. So the acoustics weren't what you would find in a theatre. And a lady came up to me during the interval and said, could you have a word with them? Because the music's too loud and the singing's too soft. So we can hear the music, but we can't hear what they're singing. And I had that same issue during the show. The music was really loud, but that's good because I like loud, because I'm hard of hearing myself, so I quite like it loud. But either the music was too loud and the mics weren't turned up enough, or whatever. I don't know. The acoustics in that place were, you know, they're still kind of trying to find their feet with the acoustics and whatever. But yeah, for some of the songs or some of the words, I couldn't hear what they were saying. Now, I know what they're supposed to be saying, but I couldn't hear if they were saying what they were supposed to be saying, if you know what I mean. And then in some of the songs, they sort of gabbled through the words because of the backing track. The issues that we had with them trying to keep up with the backing track were issues that were all along, and they're known, and they're never going to go away. It's just the way it is. So that was a bit off-putting a little bit. And a couple of the songs, the person singing the song sang the same lyrics that should have come later in the song. And then they got themselves a little bit lost, because if you learn a song and you learn it in parts, like this is the first part, this is the second part, this is a bit of talking, then there's a third part. If you start singing the third part when it's supposed to be the first part, your head is just going, da, 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 da. Part 4 is next, but it isn't, because it's part 2. So that threw me a little bit. I recovered quite nicely and managed to deliver what they were actually singing rather than what they should have been singing. And the only major fault that I did was that I did the sign for man instead of woman. And of course, being me, I then thought about that non-stop for the next 25 minutes. So yeah, it was about a 70% audience tonight, so that was good. All ages. So yeah, it was good. I'm not happy with my delivery, but that's partly because of things that were out of my control. I couldn't make people do their words so that they were perfectly in time with the backing track. I mean, a couple of times they started singing and they go, just keep going until the backing track started. So yeah, I'm not happy with my delivery really, because here's the question though, would I have been 100% perfect had we had a band, or, you know, if everybody else had been absolutely 100% word perfect? Probably not, actually. But hey, I did my best. I improved on my translation of the last time I did it back in 2019, 2018, I think it was. So I improved on that. So yeah, I know a lot more now about translating. I know a lot more now about going on the beat and what have you. So, yeah, it was as good a job as I could have done under the circumstances. I sound like a Nazi at the Nuremberg trials, don't I? I was just following orders. So, yeah, I'm not really 100% happy with it. I don't think it's the best translation of a show I've ever done. But, hey, it's done. It is done. And the lady who played Dolores is going to be producing the next show they're doing, which is Rock of Ages, which I don't know anything about, but apparently it is based on 80s rock songs, so like Twisted Sister and Bon Jovi and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, all right, we'll have a go at that. Oh, I think that's enough. The makeup was better tonight. It didn't look like an aging ghoul any more than I do usually. So there you go. We're done. Sister Act is behind me. You are in my rear view, Dolores. May we meet again someday in the future when I know a bit more, and then I'll translate it differently. And so, I'm going to have a really big drink because I'm so thirsty. I'm definitely going to have a shower because I am sweating in parts of me that I did not realise could sweat. And honestly, God, I feel like I've been snogged by the Swamp Thing. I'm just so sweaty. And it's that horrible kind of, like you're wearing a wetsuit kind of sweat. It's horrible. My feet hurt. But hey, they always do. I'm getting old. What can you do? And yeah, I tell you what though. There's this part where, spoiler alert, incidentally, where Dolores is being picked up from the convent by Sweaty Eddie and taken to his gaff. And as she leaves, there's this nun who all the way through it has been a little bit spaced out and in her own little world. And she steps forward and she says this reading from Isaiah. And the young lady who did that, she really slowed it down and did it with her entire heart and soul. I could kind of hear her voice catching a little bit. She was making herself quite emotional. And I always get quite teary at that part. And I was on the cusp of losing my shit on stage, of actually crying. And that's nice. It's nice. It's nice when they can do that. And there was a lady in the audience as well who was bawling her eyes out at that part. So, well done, crew. You know, you stepped out of your normal lives and into these characters and you made people believe that you were those characters. And that's what this is all about. The petty inconveniences and the arguments you might have with groups and the frustrations of having to explain what you do and where you need to stand and the fact that you actually need to get paid, all of this disappears in that very moment where you are so caught up in being part of this world that you've been invited into that the emotions are real. So yeah. Tell you what, I've got some groupies. It's crazy. A young fellow who's been in a couple of shows that I've done. He was in Kips and he was in The Addams Family. Him and his mom, she's his like arch supporter, you know, she's his #1 fan. Of course you are, you're his mom. They weren't going to come and see the show, but then they heard that I was translating it, so they bought a ticket and came and saw the show. For me personally. They're not deaf, but that's quite nice. I've got fans lining up at the stage door for my autograph. start Elf this weekend. I'm going to go along to rehearsal for Elf on Sunday, because the last time I saw this group, they hadn't started auditions yet. So I don't know who's playing Elf, Buddy, or the dad, or the mom, or Michael, any of that. I don't know any of those things. So it's going to be interesting to see if the people who they've picked, what they're like. And then I can sort of have a look at them and what have you. And they also want me to teach them part of one of the songs in SSE, which is Sign Supported English, so that the cast can sign the song. It's a part where Santa's sleigh needs Christmas spirit, and so if everybody's signing, maybe encourage any deaf people in the audience to sign along as well, because people will be encouraged to sing along, and it's nice to include everybody. So I've agreed to do that. I don't usually, but I have for this one little song, because it's a children's show. And it's different when you're doing a children's show, because you want them to be able to join in as much as possible. So that's what we're doing this weekend. Act 1 of Elf. I may buy some pointed ears off Amazon. We'll see. And so it's time to retire the grey cravat, which I'm still not happy with, you know. I'm going to have to go on one of those like YouTube how to tie a wedding cravat pages and have a look. So I have a tie with candy canes on it for Elf, and I have a tie with Christmas trees on it for White Christmas. So yeah, and then so we're going up towards Christmas, and then I'm having Christmas off. Yay. And then back to the fray in January, when I start learning 9 to 5 and Rock of Ages, apparently. So it's all new stuff, and it's all different stuff, and it's all going to be very, very interesting. So this is me signing off, and I will see you again in probably about 4 weeks, when hopefully I'll have Elf stuck in my head, in my bonds, and I'll have been practicing it and have it ready to go. Bye.